In this video, I'm going to be going through all my wild camping gear. So if you are looking for a bit of a kit list to put together for your next wild camping adventure, if you've never done it before and you want an idea of what to take, or if you're just curious about what kind of gear you want to be taking out with you, then I'm going to be going through all the things I normally take with me on a typical wild camp. I won't go into details on every single item because I've done so many review videos, so what I'll do, I'll link them all in the description box below, as well as put little links up here for you. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. Right, I'm not going to babble on this one, I'm going to get straight to it and show you what I take out with me when wild camping. First things first is my backpack. I have currently got the Mamat Dukan Spine, and that's a 28 to 35 litre. It extends from the top, it's a roll down, it has got a few little pockets in the hip belts. I like this because it lets me move when I'm hiking. It kind of works with your body's movements, and it has got a waterproof cover on the inside of it, tucked into the bottom, so if it does start raining, it's not going to get all my gear wet. Another thing I'll be showing you is the order in which I pack things. So as I'm taking things out is exactly how I would have packed them for a wild camping trip. And the first thing to know is that the tent is on the outside of my backpack. I like to keep this easily accessible. If I do have enough room in the pack, it will obviously go near the top, because what you want when you get to camp, especially if it's raining, is access to this to be able to put up your shelter extremely quickly. Now the one I have got is the Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2. I love this tent. It is a 3-season tent. It's lightweight, weighs only 1.13 kilograms, which is about 2 pounds and 8 ounces. It's 2-person tent, and the reason why I've got this and not a 1-person is originally because I like to keep my backpack in my tent with me, especially when the weather is really bad. Plus, I just love that extra room. My puffy is the next thing I have, and I keep it all zipped up into its own pocket. This is the Mountain Equipment Superflux women's jacket. It's a polar loft technology, which means it is synthetic, and it's only 370 grams. And I like the fact that it packs up nice and small, but keeps me warm. I will still take this regardless of whether it's spring or summer, because night times still do get cold. Next up is a first aid kit, and I have got the first aid kit by Life Systems. I add a few little extra things to this, such as antihistamine tablets. I've also got a tick removal card in here, and also my Swiss Army knife. So that has got scissors, little knife, all the little gadgets on there. I also have duct tape in here, which I've added, which is instead of a tent repair kit. So I like to have that rolled up, and that will fix things like my sleeping mat, my tent, even hiking boots at push. It is extremely handy piece of kit to have in your first aid kit. I also have a midge net in there because at the moment it is summer here in the UK, and these are essential, especially if camping anywhere near water. Next up is my waterproof, so I always have my jacket and trousers together. I've got the Patagonia torrent shell jacket and the Burhouse Deluge overpants, which are always in my pack at the front near the zip, so I can get access to them when it starts raining. Now we are on to cooking gear, and I have everything in a little nest pot here. So first things first, I use the Snow Peak Titanium Trek 700 pot. So obviously made out of titanium, it weighs only 135 grams and has a capacity of 700 mils, which is 24 fluid ounces. Comes with a lid, comes with handles, measuring gauge on the side, and also a hole at the top so you can drain away any excess fluid you don't need. With this, I also have the MSR Pocket Rocket 2, which is the stove that I use. It's very lightweight, only 73 grams. It's extremely compact. The pot supports fold exceptionally small, and it fits inside this pot with my gas canister as well as all my other little bits and bobs. The lighter I use is the Life Systems Dual Action Fire Starter. It has a ferrocerium rod with an integrated striker, and I like this because it is suitable in all weather conditions, and it weighs only 42 grams. To eat with, I use a spork, and the one I use is the Sea to Summit Alpha Light long-handled version. It is made out of aluminium, and it weighs in at only 12 grams, which is 0.4 ounces. And it also includes a carabiner on the end of it. One of my favourite things about wild camping is having that cup of coffee while watching a sunrise. You just can't beat it. The cup that I take with me for that is the Lifeventure Ellipse collapsible cup. It weighs only 64 grams and holds 350 mils. I always carry a bandana with me and keep it with my cook set for drying things off, washing things, holding the handles if it gets a little bit hot. It comes in so handy. And then finally, I carry some fuel, a small one if it's just a one-night trip or a larger one if it's longer, and always a little bag to carry any rubbish or any waste from the campsite, and I keep it separate in my bag so it doesn't get anything else messy. A little tip I will give you: if you carry your fuel or your stove or anything else in your tin pot or any little pot that you've got with you, if you don't want that annoying rattling sound, if you line it with the bandana first and then fill it with the fuel and your stove, it keeps it nice and quiet and it won't be rattling around or scratching anything. Next up, I have a bag which is the Osprey 3-litre dry bag. In here I keep all my electronics. Now when I'm vlogging and filming I usually have a lot more, but this is just if I was normally wild camping. I have my head torch. This one is the Life Systems Intensity 500 LED rechargeable head torch. I love the fact that this is eco-friendly and you're not just getting rid of disposable batteries all the time, so you can recharge this when you get home. Also, it will take AAAs just in case I need it. I always carry with me a power bank in case any of my devices lose charge. If I'm on a longer trip, I will use my Anker PowerCore 2 20,000. Or if I'm just on a single night, I will carry the Life Systems rechargeable hand warmer. I know that sounds strange, but it also will charge devices as well. Plus, it'll warm your hands if you get cold. So I carry one or the other. And finally, in the electronics, I carry the leads and cables that I need for my devices, such as my iPhone cable, as well as the one that links up to my Garmin InReach Explorer Plus. I carry this with me on any trip where I'm outdoors because it's a satellite phone as well as a navigation device. If I've got no service, it allows me to get in touch with people back at home and also call for help in an emergency. And speaking of navigation tools, I always then carry with me a map and a compass, if I can find it in here. There we go, it's attached to my whistle. Right, so I've got the OS map, which is the Explorer version. I always carry a paper map, even though I've got digital maps, just in case any electronics fail. This one is the Explorer version, which means it's a 1 to 25,000 ratios, so it's perfect for walking. And I also carry a compass. I have a little bag of toiletries. I keep things extremely minimal when I'm out on trails because I just like to keep things as lightweight as possible, and it's usually only for a day or two, so I'm kind of used to smelling after I did the PCT. First in here is a little toothbrush. It's a bamboo one. I don't like using plastic ones, by a brand called From Earth to Earth, which is FETE. Now, I order a child size one because I have been in the past that conscious of trying to save weight that I've chopped toothbrushes in half. So I just thought, well, why not order a child one? It fits perfectly and it is so cute. It's really lightweight. I also make sure I carry a sunscreen as well as some wipes. So just a small bag of natural wipes, a little toothpaste, and that is it. That's all I carry with me regarding toiletries. Now onto the sleep system. I have got in here a Thermarest Neo Air X Lite in the women's version, and I roll this up in the Thermarest pump sack, which I use to inflate it. So I keep that protected, rolled up in there. It's extremely lightweight and it makes your evening under the stars so much more comfortable. It weighs only 340 grams, which is 12 ounces, but it's 2.5 inches thick, which means it keeps you nice and warm with its R-value rating of 5.4, and that's on the women's version. Now finally, from the very bottom of my backpack, I have my sleep kit, which includes in a dry bag, which is 20 litres. I always keep my sleeping bag and my sleeping gear in a dry bag because if everything else gets wet, that's fine, as long as I'm nice and dry on a night time. So in here, I have my sleeping bag, which is a Laminate Z Mountain Hardware sleeping bag. It goes down to 1 degree Celsius, which is 34 degrees Fahrenheit. It weighs in about 960 grams. It's a synthetic bag, mummy style. It's extremely comfortable and perfect for spring and summers. One of my favourite things to take with me when wild camping is an inflatable pillow. A lot of people like to use their puffies, for example, rolled up like that, but I find that too firm. And also, if I'm really cold, I'll sometimes wear that, or they'll fold clothes up, but I generally don't have spare things. So an inflatable, comfortable pillow is perfect for me to get a good night's sleep. This is the Aeros one by Sea to Summit. It weighs only 60 grams, which is about 2.1 ounces. It's inflatable in 2 breaths, and it gives me a really good night's sleep. And one thing that I always keep in there as well is a little pack of earplugs. Trust me, if you're going wild camping and it's going to be very windy or very rainy, these will ensure a good night's sleep. And I tend to keep both of those in the zip in my sleeping bag, so I know where everything is when I've got it rolled out at night. Now finally, I have got my sleepwear. I like to keep everything in a buff, and it just keeps it all flat and tidy and neat and organised. I am a little bit of a neat freak when it comes to backpacking and camping. I love to wear my buff when I'm in bed, either round my head if it's cold, because if it's a windy night and there's a lot of breeze going through the tent, it can cause a bit of a chill on your head. So I've got that there just in case, but if it's not chilly, I'll always put that over my pillow, because then it leaves the pillow nice and clean for the next adventure without you having to wash it all the time. In my little parcel of buff, I have my Patagonia Kapolein thermal sleepwear. They're made out of some kind of Polar Tech synthetic fabric, and they're lovely and warm, comfortable. They're both long, so I've got trousers as well as the long sleeve top, which has got a mid-torso zip and thumb loops, which are lovely and cozy. And I always make sure to have a spare pair of socks in with my sleepwear that are only to be used to sleep in or at camp, because there's nothing worse than getting to your tent on a night if you've got wet, cold feet. But that's all the sleepwear done, and I have other things attached around my pack which I use generally during the day. So I always have a whistle attached to the top of my pack. So if anything happens to me and I fall or I need help and I can't extract myself properly from my backpack, I know I can reach behind in the top zip, and that's attached to the little loop there. That is by Life Systems. It's a hurricane whistle, extremely loud. I will not blow it here because I'm in a park, so I'll probably get swarmed by dogs. I have a water bottle. This is a, I think it's just some kind of aluminium water bottle. It's lightweight and it's reusable. Obviously, I try and minimise plastic where I can, and it holds about 1 litre and allows me to attach a carabiner onto the top of it. So that always lives in one side of my backpack. Now, on the other side, these are the things that I'll probably use regularly, so I keep them to hand so they're not buried in my pack. I've got a carabiner attached to my backpack. I just always have. I don't know why. It's just, it comes in handy. I sometimes hang my torch from the inside of my tent, especially if I want to take pictures of my tent or if I just am milling around and I don't want it on my head. Now, in this side pocket, I have got my Sawyer Filter and also my ever new water carrier. Now, the Sawyer Squeeze will allow me to get access to clean water when I'm out and about, so I'm not having to carry loads of water with me when I'm going camping. If, for example, I'm at a dry camp, which means that I've got no water accessible where I'm camping, I will take more water carrying devices out with me. And I will also make sure that this ever new 1.5 collapsible water pouch is filled as well. Now, this is what I use to carry my dirty water in. So I'll fill this up, screw the Sawyer Squeeze onto the top of it, and then squeeze out the clean water through the other end into my water bottle. That's how it works. It is so straightforward. The Sawyer Squeeze weighs in at about 72 grams, which is less than 3 ounces, and it is impossible for harmful bacteria, protozoa or cysts to pass through this filter because it is rated to 0.1 micron absolute filtration, which means nothing is getting through this. It's going to keep you nice and safe from any of those harmful nasties. And the reason why I prefer using this rather than the pouches that come with the Sawyer Squeeze is because I just find this much more reliable. I have used this so many times. It is on its last legs now, I'm not going to lie. I will need a new one very soon, but it has served me well and it has been so reliable for me. This weighs in at only 36 grams, which is 1.3 ounces. Also in that side pocket, I have my trowel for digging cat holes. The one I use is the Juice of Spade, which is only 17 grams, which is 0.6 ounces. It's made out of a tough, durable aluminium, and it allows you to dig a hole and measure it at the correct 6 inches height, which is how tall it is. So you use the full trowel to dig the right depth hole. I also have toilet tissue as well as antibacterial hand gel. So I keep those all together in the side for easy access. And the last thing in that side pocket is midge spray. I don't always have this with me, but at the moment it's August, so it is pretty bad for midges, especially if you're camping anywhere near water or rivers or streams, reservoirs, you name it. They are out in force at the moment, so this is an essential requirement. The one I use is the Life Systems, and I like this because they do a deep free version. And it keeps the midges off. What more could you want? Another thing I always take with me, I'm actually sitting on it, is my sit pad, which is just a foam lightweight sit pad. Don't need to say any more on that, it's a sit pad. And finally, one of my favourite things to take out when wild camping is, of course, food. You can't go wild camping without food, it just cannot be done. There's just something about sitting around, eating food, in nature. It's just part of the experience, so take plenty of food. If it's hot food, obviously you need all your stove and your equipment, but cold food is just as lovely on a summer's day or a spring evening. But one thing to bear in mind that I always make sure to do, if I'm taking food that needs cooking, I always pack extra snacks or extra food to eat just in case something goes wrong. So your fuel canister might not work, or your stove might break, or it might be absolutely pouring it down with rain and you can't use gas stoves in a tent and you'll be starving. So make sure to take plenty of snack bars. I always take things like Cliff Bars, dried fruit, trail mixes and other things that I can eat without having to worry about cooking them. It's not the nicest all the time, but at least you've got some fuel to keep you going. I really hope you have enjoyed this video today and that you've found it useful if you're putting together some kind of wild camping kit list for yourself, or if you've just enjoyed having a little nosy at what I take with me when wild camping. People are very different, they have different needs, and some people might take a lot more, some people might take a lot less. I will take other pots with me sometimes, or camera gear. I would just say that these are my basic wild camping essentials. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section below and I'll try and help out where I can. One thing I will say is just make sure that you always take the basic safety equipment with you. Make sure you've got some form of communication with people when you're out there, such as a phone or a satellite phone. Always tell someone where you're going, when you're going to be back, and I'm not going to lecture anymore, but just have a fantastic time. Be safe, leave no trace, and enjoy nature at its best. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. Consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notifications so you're notified when I upload videos. And also I have got a whole Patreon set up, a community over there that have been enjoying lots of extra content that I do, such as videos, blog posts, recipes. Go check it out if you're interested in supporting me further. I will leave the description for it in the box below as well as on the screen coming up shortly. But until next time, goodbye.